Good morning, Mogul. I pray everyone enjoyed the Super Bowl. Sorry for those KC fans. One of my besties is a KC fan. I'm so sorry for you, but I am so excited for my former New England Patriot, Tom Brady. I've always been a Tom Brady fanatic, so I want to shout out to him and shout out to Black History Month. Right? Okay. I don't know why it seems as though we haven't really been celebrating it as much. I don't know if that's due to COVID. But we do have Black History in the studio today, and this is our first power couple that we've had on the show. Please let me introduce you guys to Tony and Iesha Richard. All right, guys, and so of course you guys know my name is Shaun Eaglin. You are watching Mogul on the Move, and we're going to get into this conversation cocktail. This is our first mixed cocktail. We have our first male here. So thank you for agreeing to come on to Mogul on the Move. And so, guys, they have a unique partnership. Tony is an artist in both rap as well as portrait, and Iesha is his manager.
Not officially, but yeah.
But yeah, you're doing the work, right? You're doing the work. Well, when you're a wife, you're kind of like a manager of the household anyway. So explain to me, Tony, what prompted you to be an entrepreneur? Because that's really what being a rapper is. You're your own business owner, right? And you are independent. What prompted you to get into the industry? Have you always wanted to be a rapper?
Nah, I ain't want to be a rapper at all.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was silly. I thought me being a rapper would be silly. I didn't think people would take me serious.
Why that?
I don't know. I guess probably like insecurities.
Okay.
Honestly, probably my own like personal insecurities. But,
okay.
Being an entrepreneur is hard. It is hard. It's a lot of work. Yep. It's a lot of you being your own boss. You making your own schedule, having to wake up, having to work just like anybody else, having to work. Got to push yourself 10 times harder because there's no boss behind you.
You don't work, you don't eat, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's part of the process that pushes me more. Like I have to take care of my family. I have to eat. We have to survive. So that's where the balance comes in with both the art and the music.
So that has to be an extra, like, I don't want to use the word stress because we don't have to be stressed about anything. We don't have to be anxious.
It's extra
weight. Is
that
more pressure and
extra weight?
It
definitely is extra weight.
You do have a family.
Of course. Because, I mean, you also got to depend on clients, to constantly come back. Yep. Music is a little easier because we have like analytics and things to look at. Once I drop a project.
So explain to the viewers, to the moguls, exactly what analytics means to you.
Just the numbers. Just basically
so streams.
Of course, streams, views, videos and whatnot. But since we're in the streaming business now, we're not in the digital copies. We're not selling copies of CDs anymore. You gotta constantly drop music, constantly. And it's the same with art. I have to constantly drop content to remain relevant. On social media and whatnot.
What is the there's pros and cons to being an independent artist. What would be your pros and your cons?
The pros is I get to work for myself. I don't have to work for the man. I love to paint. I love making music. So that's my pros. I get to spend time with my family more. I get to see them more. I know it's a lot of people that have anxiety, they worry about their kids when they're at work or their wife, things like that.
Yes.
Those are my pros. I get to see my family all the time. That's a blessing for me. The cons is I could be gone for a week. The cons are I might not sell this painting that I'm trying to sell. The client might pull back. What's some other cons, babe?
Or like there's kind of like waves. So there's like 1 month to 3 months. It's like everything's booming. And then there's like dry season. So financially, we're like, okay, let's, cut back on here. We're trying to cut corners in certain ways because it's like, while it's good, we have to make sure we reserve what we can for the dry season.
True.
So you have to have wisdom, and I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs fail. That instant gratification is not the mindset to have.
Yeah.
And when you do start, getting gratification, you still have to have your little nest egg and be wise about how you spend until you get to the place where you can spend, not have any qualms about it. So let me ask you, art, as it pertains to portraits, have you always been an artist in those regards? As a child, were you painting, or was there something that happened that kind of spawned that whole
Like I would. My mom would give me like playful easels for kids and whatnot, and I would paint like when I was younger. But I always did draw, always.
Interesting.
But my teachers, I had a teacher, I can't think of her name right now. She kept nagging me to paint. She was like, "You draw so well, you draw so well. You need to try to paint." And I didn't want to do it. I was like, "Nah, I don't want to paint."
I would think painting would be harder. Which do you find harder?
Well, I don't draw like that anymore. So painting is,
okay.
I could literally draw the outline of what I'm about to paint with my paintbrush. I don't have to sit there and sketch it with a pencil like some people. So drawing is a lot harder, and I feel like it'll take a lot longer. Whereas with all paint, I'm moving. And I've been doing it for so long. I've been all painting since 2003, 2004. Wow. I've been all painting for a while.
That is a long time. How long have you been painting as an entrepreneur, meaning selling?
I started selling my work right after high school. Oh, wow. That's whenever Instagram started popping, social media. Once people get an eye on you, they pretty much want to buy support. So that's when I started selling.
Okay, now when did you transition to Texas, to Houston? Because you are originally from Louisiana.
Lafayette.
Lafayette, shout out to Lafayette. Shout out to Opelousas, where my family's from.
Oh,
shout out to Franklin, Louisiana.
Franklin.
Psych.
So we have the boot in here.
Yeah.
But so what was that transition like, and how do you feel that has affected you being an entrepreneur? Did that help? You think you have more exposure being in Houston because it's a larger city, or do you think it's kind of was more intimidating? How do you feel like it affected you as an artist?
Well, I moved out here in 2008 after I graduated from high school. I went to the Art Institute. I hated it. I hated it though.
You hated it?
Because it wasn't
structured.
It was graphic. It was graphics. It was computer. It wasn't it wasn't like realism, all paint, acrylic. It wasn't hands-on whenever it comes down to actual mediums of paint. So dropped out of school, moved back to Louisiana for a little while. But something always been calling me to Houston. My dad always lived in Houston. So something's always.
So you were coming back and forth to Houston as a child?
All the time.
Oh well, yeah.
Okay. But I always knew, like, something always told me like you're gonna end up in Houston. So I always knew that. But Houston pushed me. I used to ride a bicycle from I don't know if you know what Kirkwood is. I used to ride a bicycle from Kirkwood all the way down to the Galleria.
Wow.
To school like 3 days out the week. So I mean,
what school?
The Art Institute.
Okay.
Yeah, I pushed myself. I pushed myself a lot when I first got here. A lot.
So that says a lot, because I know that speaks volumes in you being an entrepreneur. Because I will tell you guys, it is not for the faint at heart. And a lot of people, I get so many DMs, I'm sure you guys do too. Oh, I want to get into this, I want to get into that. And they have such an ideal that it's going to be easy. Because
like the end goal is just
and we're still in the middle. You know, a lot of us, we have our successes, but like you say, it's like a wave.
Yeah.
It can be even flow at times, and then it can be like, okay, this is as was 2020 for me.
Yeah.
So let me talk about 2020. Were you able to sustain in 2020? Do you feel like being an artist actually worked in your favor in 2020? Because I know a lot of people were reaching for some type of fill a void. And to me, music and artistry is always that fill a void, that feel good that you need, right? So how do you feel like 2020 affected you?
2020 was terrible.
So it was hard.
I hated 2020. I had to go work at Walmart, which I'm not ashamed to say. I had to go work at Walmart. I had to go work for this electrical company. I couldn't paint as much. I didn't have to drive to paint as much.
You had to work. You had to go to work.
Exactly. But I made music. I dropped 2 projects during 2020.
Awesome.
So my streams went up. My streams went up. I was
2021 is bad. It's just
it took more.
It took more. It took more. Like it took that when you strive to be something so bad and life pulls you back to like a reality of like sometimes you have to stop and do something different for a certain period of time.
And it's almost like God is testing what your heart truly desires. Are you really an humble person? or is it all about just the
True.
money, or do you really have a love for the craft? So
True.
it seems like it really was a blessing, even though it was hard for me as well, being a real estate agent. In the CBD, you aren't able to socialize as much, and you guys are the same. You meet your clients by being out.
Yeah.
So it was like
being out.
Yeah, being out. And so it's like, everybody went into 2020, oh God, this is gonna be the greatest year ever, And it was like humbled everyone. Now some businesses did even greater. And that 1%er, they really made a lot from real estate and from stocks from the catastrophe that happened. But it seems like, and I think for me too, it forced me to bring out more creativity for my brand, right? So what are some of the goals that you set for 2020 that you were still able to accomplish? I know you said you came out with 2 projects.
That's all. I didn't set any other goals. 2021 was the first year I'm really setting goals.
Awesome.
I'm gonna meet this mark. We're gonna make sure I get $2,000, and it happened. It happened already.
Awesome.
January fulfilled. It went above and beyond 2000, excuse me. And this month is already booming. It's booming.
Wow. So now, don't you think 2020
prepared me
probably
for 2021?
It did.
It did.
Right?
It gave them that push.
Yes. And I will say this, kudos to a man who will do whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm interviewing for a position now. I said I will clean the toilets. Whatever I have to do to be able to be a part of the team. And sometimes we'll let our ego and our pride, keep us from greater, not realizing that taking that step back and humbling yourself really is kind of like God propelling you for that next level that you're trying to get to.
And you never know what door is going to open. Like,
exactly.
He met people, through those jobs that now listen to his music.
See?
They put it on social media.
A new fan base.
Yep.
Yeah. Just people being able to see, his witness through what he's doing. So,
and I had a lot of people pushing me. Like, I thought it was gonna be hatred because I do so many different things. Yeah. So it could bring about jealousy or envy.
Oh, well, that's gonna be a part of it. Yeah,
exactly. But it wasn't that at all. Not at Walmart. It wasn't like that at all. Good. Everybody was like, "Man, you're gonna be big." So it was a blessing.
That's really a blessing. Let me say this. What do you think Black History means to you? What does Black History mean to you this month? Such a special month. We have our first African American VP, who happens to be a female. So what do you, Tony, I'll ask you, and I'll ask you in the next segment, what does Black History mean to you? How much more important is it this year after all the turmoil and all the hatred? Thank God Trump is no longer in office. Sorry to my Republican watchers. God. What do you feel like it has a sweeter feeling, it seems like, to me this year?
I feel like everything is just beginning to open wide. I feel like we are starting to get recognized more. We just seen at the Super Bowl. We had a poet from the UK, I think. You had Jasmine Sullivan. You had her. You had The Weeknd. That's 4 Black people. I think 2020 prepared other people for a uprise as far as with Black people. Black history it's always been important. It's always been pushed in the church, the schools. They did kind of an eye job, but our parents would let us know who MLK is, who Malcolm X is, who Rosa Parks. The basics of Black history. But I think it's big. I think it's bigger than that, and I think those people knew it was bigger than them. It's about us as a people. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what Black History is gonna do in February, and I mean every day now for the rest, going forward.
Yep, I think you're right. We definitely have a new focus as a people, and I think breath of fresh air. It seems as though. So on that note, Moguls, we will be right back in just a few.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing findhealthbenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
All right, moguls, we are back. It is Black History Month, and we have Black history in the house with us. We have our power couple, the Richards. And so now we're going to get into what is it like being a medical professional. You are a registered nurse, Iesha, and dealing with COVID. It is nothing I don't think we've ever experienced as a nation.
No.
How has that affected you, and especially being a mom and a wife and having to come home as, you know?
I think the good thing about nursing is nothing, like no day or night shift is ever the same. So like we're already used to a lot of adjustments, but this was just like any given second, you know, policies that were in place for COVID patients starting off, like now it's a little bit like we're more experienced, we're a little bit more relaxed, you know, we're more confident in our own skills to deal with them. But you know, you just constantly have to just go with the flow, you know, go with the best move at the time. For people that are just used to like one way systems, and you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And then the other thing is just knowing when to rest. You know, there's a lot of money to be made in nursing right now. You see like the travel nurses doing a lot of jobs and this and that, but you know, we do have travel nurses on our floor right now, and it's just like, it wouldn't work for me. You know what I mean? Like you have to know what you're made for and what you're not.
And then you're a wife and a mother. That's
and
we have a woman
them,
that doesn't have,
but
managing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like you have to choose where you want to be present. You know.
Let me ask you this: what was the as I watched when the pandemic first kicked off? I guess the first 3 months, it seems as though there was a lot of strain on medical professionals. Did you deal with that? Because it seemed like it was so chaotic up in the air. You know. So my daughter's father's an ER physician in Florida, and he was like, he never is like moved. He's very stoic, monotone. And for him to tell me this is like nothing. We still can't figure it out. And the medical world usually has a
Yeah.
a feel after 8 weeks of what
Yeah.
this of what a virus composes of. And he was like, we don't know. So was there uncertainty or like?
Yeah, because it was like it takes part of every part of your body. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes over. The symptoms that we're looking at, their flu symptoms, their cold symptoms, you know what I mean? And then it starts affecting the heart and it starts affecting everything else. And it's just like, okay, there's no on? 1 + 1 = 2 on this.
Yes.
So that's why I was saying, like, we just had to be prepared every day. Whatever the policy and rules are, that's what we're going to go with because that's what we have to show proof of as of right now. My floor was like one of the first units to be a COVID only floor.
Wow.
Yeah, we dealt with COVID only patients for a good run, and then we got maybe a month or 2 break, and then after the holidays, all the numbers just shot back up.
Yep.
And then, now we're supposed to be transitioning to the official COVID unit. We're not even the backup anymore. We're from what I heard last. So it's just like.
Does it make you more cautious as you're going home?
When it first started, of course, we were very cautious. And then it just gets to be like, this is life. You know what I mean? So not to say that we're not as, cautious as we were before, but it's just, you don't even second guess the mask. You don't second guess washing your hands after every little thing. It's just what you do now.
Now, let me ask you, Tony, real quick. Was there a sense of anxiousness you had for your wife? The fact that she had to go out into the front lines daily as her husband and not being able to necessarily protect her from this virus? Who knows what its functioning is? How did it make you feel as a husband?
I had peace.
Good.
Honestly, I really had peace.
Good.
I feel like God gave me peace about it.
I was going to ask you where that peace comes from God.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about it at all. I mean, she take
care
of herself.
So
she was the one. Take off all your clothes at the door.
Sorry,
That's what she was. Take off all your clothes at the door. Take off everything. Like,
okay, so
throw
she
everything.
Was,
she was on me.
I guess because you were seeing it.
Yeah, we were like, we don't know. I mean, when it first started off, it was just like it sits on, surfaces for so long and et cetera, et cetera. And now, like, you don't really hear anything about that. Now it's just more so, airborne and everything. Yeah. So it's just like, okay.
And that's the other thing. It did change. You were like, okay, don't do this. Okay, it's going to be 4 hours. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, thankfully, we've both been tested for COVID 2 different times. We popped up negative, so I've never been symptomatic or anything. So I feel comfortable with saying that my family has not ever had COVID, contracted it. But, I do have a mom that takes care of my daughter pretty much 3, days out of the week routinely. And so I got to worry about her. And, it's a lot. But like he said, we just have to give it to God and, keep it moving. Now, I will say there are doctors and nurses, medical staff that they just get so comfortable that, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing all of that, like
it's still here.
Yeah.
People are, now we know that we've become fatigued.
Yeah.
But it is still here, guys.
Yeah.
We, I saw a lot of Super Bowl parties, and I'm like, what in the world?
For real.
Yeah, it's like you naturally want to just go back to not having to worry about everything. But it's like when my friends were hitting me up all the time, I was like, you know what? This is what it's going to be, and you decide what you're willing to risk. Yeah. And you have to be comfortable with the consequences afterwards, because we literally have families coming in the hospital and maybe one of them is dying depending on the age and everything. And the crazy part that from what I see is like 35 to about 75. That's who it hits the hardest. Ironically, from what I've seen, I can only speak on what I've seen. Our patients that are like 80 and up, they're not on oxygen or they're not needing as much oxygen. They're there just kind of with the window period of everything, to where they're not contagious and all this other kind of stuff. And then they're going back to the nursing homes and stuff.
So that makes sense.
They're living.
It makes sense because the news makes it seem as though, individuals my age in the 40s, we don't have to worry. It's the elderly or it's those that have underlying conditions. But a cousin of mine, someone that her family member just passed away from COVID. She was on a ventilator, I think, for like a month. She was in the hospital. But she reached out to me, and because we sang at her wedding, and she had 2 small kids, she and her husband, and I think she was in her mid-40s, And I'm thinking, well, what? You know, and it's not the first story I've heard. I'm like, okay, so it is affecting all ages. It's not like they're kind of trying to portray.
And there's people that, I mean, that don't know they have underlying conditions because they don't routinely go to the hospital, and they're finding out, oh, you got COVID, and then you got all this other stuff.
And you got high blood pressure.
Too. Yeah.
Okay, so being a business owner, and so share with the moguls the name of your business, the shoe line.
So I'm dropping an online shoe store, Psalm's Choice, named after my daughter. And it's just, you know, I love nursing. I've always enjoyed doing things outside of nursing. I'm a social person. And
that's how we met, guys, with Social T.
Yeah, through Social T. But I do like stability, you know, so I feel like nursing, you can have a stable career and you can adjust to life. You know, you can do travel, you can do nursing home clinics, whatever you feel works for you at the time, day shift, night shift. So after, you know, being stable, I've been a nurse for about 7 years now. I was like, it's time to move forward with something else. My husband is an entrepreneur, so I felt like, you know, it only kind of made sense. And so I love shoes. I love fashion, but shoes is like my thing.
That's your thing.
I'm dropping hopefully February 14th. That'll be our launch date.
All right, Valentine's Day. All right, fellas watching too.
Right.
Order your girl some shoes.
Yeah, if I didn't already have it, I would tell him, you know, you got to buy me
exactly, yeah.
But Psalm's Choice, you know, at Psalm's Choice on Instagram, psalmschoice.com is spelled just like the book out of the Bible, PSALM with the S at the end. And so I plan on, you know, I feel like it's good that I can take my time to, you know, make this happen. Yep. It's not like an all or nothing thing, but
you're cultivating it as you go.
Yeah, and luckily through Social T, I have people, you know, the ladies that I've met that they all are business owners in some kind of way. They're juggling different career moves, and they helped me. Like my friend Laura, she helped me build the website. You know, the media, like just. I've learned so much.
Women supporting women. Yeah. We have to support each other, guys. Be happy. Celebrate each other, our milestones.
Yeah, like we're not competition, you know.
Exactly.
And then you
we're in Houston. There's enough, right?
Yeah.
Can we please get Black History Month? Can we get past the barrel, what is it, crabs in the bucket?
Crabs in the bucket, yeah.
We are in Houston, Texas. There's enough for everyone.
It's enough to go around.
And what God has for you is for you.
Exactly.
I don't understand us Christians. We in church every Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and praying on Saturday. But then you're concerned about the next person. What God has for you is for you, right? So what is it like just sitting and letting it resonate that you have a business in your daughter's name? Like, that's such a legacy.
I love that. I feel like my parents, you know, even through like their ups and downs, they definitely started, you know, like letting us know about money. Like, you know, I learned about credit and stuff,
which is rare in our community. So kudos to your parents.
Yeah, you know, it's like nobody gets it right all the time, but I feel like each generation should be doing better. So it's like, if I can get this started now, and you know, she's always with me. She's you know, right there right now. So
I know
it's like,
we talked about that. You're a paranoid mom like me. Don't trust anybody with your child.
Yeah, and you know, we're from the country, so it's like you always have grandma or somebody watching. It's not a daycare and
this person, that person.
But she gets to see it, you know what I mean? So she gets to see the work ethic. She gets to see the hard work and everything. And then it's her choice if she wants to keep it going. But at least she has that spark of like, okay, I can do whatever I work for, whatever I put my mind to.
Yes.
And, you know, she's spoiled, but, you know,
well, she's an only child, too. So.
Yeah, we try to, you know, make her work for, you know, whatever she wants at a 4-year-old's level,
So explain to the moguls, what type of shoes do you have? Boots, sandals, slides? Do you provide all types of shoes? What are you? And then if you can share these beautiful boots.
I don't know if you can see now. I'm like trying to show. I'm looking at the screen. But I feel like my style, I just live to dress for like the occasion. So like I have all types of stuff in my closet. So you're gonna see sandals, heels, boots. You know, I like a shoe that pops. You know, but I love my basics. I love you know, my nudes and my black heels that I can just put on with anything. So you're gonna get a lot of my personality. I feel like there's always trends, that's going on. So that's definitely going to be in there. But I feel like people will see like what I would wear. And then, you get all the people that have always complimented me on my style. It's like, okay, now you get to shop my style.
Exactly. So what what would you say to the woman out there who may be a stay-at-home mom? She may be someone who has a career, who has a 9 to 5, who has a bit of maybe even fear. A lot of times fear is what keeps us from moving forward with entrepreneurship. What advice would you give that woman out there who has just a little bit of fear of stepping out there into entrepreneurship?
I can relate to that feeling when you come from like nursing, where it's like, okay, you're gonna take these classes, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and then you know what I'm saying? Like it's already pre-planned for you. So it's like when you're stepping into anything that you feel like God has led you to do, first of all, just do it. Make sure, of course, you do your research, your background, you have your resources, you have a community of people that are going to help you, but just go for it. Do your best, and if it's God led, then it's going to be God given. What for you is going to come.
And be wise in your choices. We're not saying leave that 9 to 5.
Exactly.
And you just started researching.
Exactly.
We have to be wise about
choices. I mean, it's like I always say, what you're willing to do, you have to be willing to accept the consequences for. Exactly. So you got to be realistic with yourself.
Exactly. So February the 14th, and that's when the website
is going to be up.
Will launch. And then also, can we find it on, like, say, Instagram?
Yes.
With the link?
At Psalm's Choice is the Instagram account. That's primarily where I'll be active through, outside of the website, keeping everybody updated. We're only shipping U.S. based right now.
Okay.
Just until, I learn my way around and everything. But, I hope y'all love the shoes. I hope things sell out, and then, we'll keep it moving.
And she has great style, you guys. So I will definitely be purchasing more. I will say this: it's
you even purchased.
Yeah, I purchased.
I tested it out, through my Instagram account just to see, what ladies liked, and it worked. So
very fashion forward. Especially, I think you have a good eye. Not just trend. I think your items are items that are classic.
Yeah,
I've always been like even as a child, Bottega Veneta. I love Ralph Lauren. Who's one of my other favorites? I love Hermes. I love Dolce & Gabbana. They have a bit of trend to it, but they always keep that classic feel to where 10 years later you can still put on the shoes. It's not like, okay, I got to get rid of these.
And that's how I am. You can ask them. I hold on to stuff forever, and people are still complimenting me as if I brought it yesterday.
Exactly.
So I'm definitely bringing that to it. And one thing I'm priding myself in, I'm not trying to charge an arm and a leg.
Exactly.
Like I'm realistic. I want every woman to be able to buy. It's like people add boutique to a name, and then it's just the utmost. And I'm like, for all of that, they can buy a bigger brand. Like, of course, we want to support small business, but so I'm trying to honor.
And thank you for that. An entrepreneur who actually cares about the clients. And the customers.
And I think it comes with because I have the nursing career, you know what I mean? So it's like I can have fun with this and still take it serious. Of course, need to make, money and move forward and grow. But, like I said, I'm just trying to follow what I feel led to do.
Exactly. So, guys, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about relationships during this next segment. It's going to get really spicy. All right. Be back in a few.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and you know, sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And, you know, my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. You know, I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
We not the same, I'm an alien, you a fool. I know a billion that tell me like who you know. Reaper through blessings, I go out and then money grow. I still remember when mama said money low. I still remember when mama said be yourself. What was these people when I really needed help? Dove in that water, baptism like clean yourself. Dripping on people like Jesus when Jesus wept. We not the same, I'm an alien, you a fool. I know a billion that tell me like who you know. Reaper through blessings, I go out and then money grow. I still remember when mama said money low. I still remember when mama said be yourself. What was these people when I really needed help? Dove in that water, baptism like clean yourself. Dripping on people like Jesus when Jesus wept. Brush all these people with one of my brushes. Ain't about no business, then I change the subject. Design on my body, I love it, I hug it. Been eating all pains and music, I'm grubbing. Don't care about your opinion and ask your opinion. Ain't nobody perfect, so niggas be sinning. I'm getting these trophies cause lately been winning. My treasures in heaven, this planet is in it. Come on the song, I killed and I'm gone like mowing the lawn. My pains are drawn, my wifey is bad, my child is the truth. I'm dripping like glue, I'm stuck to the truth. I'm stuck in my ways, I like to get paid. I'm nobody's slave, I paint in my ways. These coppers, they killers, they do it in rage. Then they get leave and probably would pay. I pray on my face, I don't go astray. I fall and I suffer cause that's how we made. Hug on my baby while we thug in the shade. Pray that we last for many more days. Hit up my dog cause home of the truth. Hard on the duty, we dropping the nukes. When I be rapping, I rally the troops. When I be balling, I'm dunking in hoops. We not the same, I'm an alien, you a fool. I know a billion that tell me like who you know. Reaper through blessings, I go out and then money grow. I still remember when mama said money low. I still remember when mama said be yourself. What was these people when I really needed help? Dove in that water, baptism like clean yourself. Dripping on people like Jesus when Jesus wept. We not the same, I'm an alien, you a fool. I know a billion that tell me like who you know. Reaper through blessings, I go out and then money grow. I still remember when mama said money low. I still remember when mama said be yourself. What was these people when I really needed help? Dove in that water, baptism like clean yourself. Dripping on people like Jesus when colder than ice, more season and spice like I ain't no rice. Been rolling my dice, 7 I'm nice, 11 like twice. If heaven a price, I lay down my life. They like to go left, I like to go right. Can't help it, I'm bright, my colors, my stripes. I'm not a slave, I'm yelling my rights. I'm under God, just look at his might. They spinning and spinning, be broken the minute. They chase at the cloud until they diminish. They rap about bodies, but they never killing. They begging the judges to lower they sentence. My music move bodies, you think I'm at bending. I'm reaching the masses and I'm the lieutenant. My heart is cemented to God is presented. I'm silent like Roddy, these people pretending. Tiptoeing this hole and kill a whole game. My people enslaved, the system I blame. They had us all working for free, that's a shame. Divide up the black house, that was the aim. Work with no wages, they play dirty games. Got people in jail, shackled with chains. These pigs will set up my people, they frame. I'm going against it, they go with the grain. Nigga, we not the same, I'm an alien, you a fool. I know a billion that tell me like who you know. Reaper through blessings, I go out and then money grow. I still remember when mama said money low. I still remember when mama said be yourself. What was these people when I really needed help? Dove in that water, baptism like clean yourself. Dripping on people like Jesus when Jesus wept. We not the same, I'm an alien, you a fool. I know a billion that tell me like who you know. Reaper through blessings, I go out and then money grow. I still remember when mama said money low. low. I still remember when mama said, be yourself. What was these people when I really needed help? Dove in that water baptism like clean yourself. Dripping on people like Jesus when Jesus wept.
All right, Mogul. So we're going to get into some of the obstacles, triumphs that you guys have faced working together. You know, a lot of relationships, I don't know, they just don't survive through working together. Finances, we know, is still, I think, the number one reason for, you know, couples not remaining together. So obviously it has strengthened you guys. You're still together. But what obstacles have you faced, and how were you able to overcome those obstacles? What tools could you give the moguls who are married partners, or maybe even, you know, your partner, just partner that you're in business with?
Marriage counselor. Yeah. Get you a good marriage counselor. I mean, like wise. That really
shout out Miss Pena.
Shout out Miss Pena. Pena Fields, our lawyer, my lawyer, and our marriage counselor.
Awesome. Okay. Okay.
And we've been doing marriage counseling, like we started before we even got married, with the premarital
counseling. Oh, good.
Yeah, our pastor, him and his wife really like made it clear, like it's a lifelong process. Yes. It's not just the when it's bad type of thing.
Yes.
It started with his dad though. His dad started counseling us, then we went to premarital counseling, and then we eventually I ended up getting a lawyer, and then she ended up being our full-time counselor now.
Why do you feel like, speaking of Black history, why do you feel like it's still a stigma somewhat in the African American community to go to counseling, especially African American males?
Because Black people don't like talking about their business. Yes, you know, like your mama always said, you know, don't tell nobody.
Black people don't like talking about their business and getting truth.
Yeah.
They like talking about their business. They don't like getting truth.
A spicy cocktail. Sip on that, mogul. Sip, please.
Yeah.
The truth.
They don't want the truth.
We have a problem with self-reflection.
Yep.
You know, I always said, as I would date, I'm weary of a person when I say, okay, well, your past relationships, what do you feel like you can do better? Well, no, I feel like I did everything good. You know, it's always the other person.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're crazy because you're not Jesus. You are not the second coming. There's something you could have done differently. Even if you were to say leave earlier, but something you could have done differently. So that says a lot that you guys have, and, you know, not just start premarital counseling, because a lot of people only do premarital counseling because, especially when you're in church, because it's like a requirement.
Yeah.
And then it's like you get to the point where you want to be divorced, and it's like, well, where was the counseling, the mediator in the middle, you know? Because you have your friends and family, but, you know, that's always a little tainted. So it's like, it's good to have somebody that is clear cut, like, you know, I have nothing invested in this outside of wanting to see y'all grow and win.
Exactly.
And, I mean, there's times where we do individual counseling, and then, you know, it's still through the same person. So I feel like the biggest thing for us has been like communication.
So that would be the big obstacle with partnering in business together.
Yeah, it's communication, because how he communicates and not how I communicate, it can be totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. So do you feel like going through that obstacle has strengthened, because it kind of forces you to learn your partner's communication and to accept that we're different? Sometimes it's hard for us to accept that that person is just different.
Yeah.
They're not going to necessarily conform to what you want them to be. You know, you have to respect and vice versa, the differences. And you know, if you know that you have your best your partner's best interest at heart, that it's all coming from love, you're able to kind of compromise more when it comes to that. So did it strengthen you guys communicating more and just being respectful of the differences that you guys have?
I would say it's still a work in progress. You know, we're still growing. We're both like 30, so we're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're still becoming ourselves too. We got married at 25, so it's like,
we got married young.
Yeah, we're still growing up individually together, and it's, you know, with me working as a nurse, night shift, like I need routine for that time frame, and then, you know, he's the artist, so it's just
you're all over.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. It's like
finding that balance. What do you guys? So like Valentine's Day is coming on. Do you ensure that, and then having a child too? So that's more work that you guys have to put into it. Finding that balance and your me time with you guys together, not just separately. How are you able to find that balance to say, okay, we're going to have this intimate time where whether it's talking about our day, or, you know, what do you have planned, or, you know, whatever's going on.
We have a support. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
We have a support group. We got a support system. I say that. So her mom will watch some. Her godparents will watch her, and they'll be ready. Like,
I was about to say, everybody's willing to take songs. So
they're ready. Like,
that's good.
You're holding on to her.
That's
like,
good though, that you're focusing on. So you do take the time to have a date night, or to have just a night to yourself. So how important is that? Would you express to the moguls? How important is that to have those date nights and take that time? It's okay, you know, let mom babysit the baby girl for you guys to have that intimate connection at time.
It's important. Like, I feel like women kind of get it a little bit more than men do, you know, because men will be like tunnel vision, and there's, you know, and I'm just like, hey, like, I like to get, because he's an introvert, I'm an extrovert, so he can stay
that you're
in
an
the
artist.
house.
Because looking at your videos, you wouldn't think you were an introvert. So you're like Beyonce, she's an introvert, but she's a Sasha out. Wow, that's interesting.
So I'm usually pulling him out for the date night and everything. He's like, he don't really get it sometimes. Like,
you rather have popcorn and movie at home.
Yeah, but I fall asleep. So now he mad, and I'm just like, you gotta get me out the house.
Yeah,
that is awesome. Let me ask you guys this. I definitely have respect, and I was sharing with Tony on my way here. On my way, we have baby girl. She's got a new friend. So on my way here, I was just thinking what feeling came to mind as I was going through the videos, and I will say UFO, I'm obsessed. I posted it on Instagram and added the music, then I repost. I was excited to repost with the song. And I was telling him that I'm a Jay-Z fanatic guy. Everybody that knows me knows. But I was telling Tony, he looks nothing like Jay-Z, of course, but that's what came to mind. That aura and family, and then you guys in the video together. It's just like the cohesiveness and the genuine realness that I get from it. And you just can't fake that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's
really, so Tony, who are some of your, I guess, some of the guys that, and maybe even women that you looked up to that were rap artists that kind of, you know, were, you know, people that you looked to, esteemed?
Jay. I'm gonna go ahead and Jay. So Jay, Nas, Kendrick, Cole,
yes,
Andre 3000,
yes,
Big Crit, Kevin. I gotta go to the South now. Kevin Gates. You got. I grew up on so many different people from the South. Yeah. Kevin Gates, Boosie, Wayne. I mean, I can go on and on. Yes. So I mean, I've
Scarface. I'm a huge Scarface fan.
My dad was a big Scarface fan. Yeah. But I mean, I pull from different people.
Everybody. Okay.
Everybody. Yeah.
So what would you say your brand is? What do you want your legacy to be as a I'm gonna say now specifically as a rap artist? What do you want your legacy to be?
My brand is Tony Richard Changes. So I'm all about changes. Life is evolving, constantly changing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Shout out to Street Symphony. Shout out to Street. He was like, it's a well-known producer. Matter of fact, Nipsey. He produced for Hustle and Motivate for Nipsey.
Awesome.
But I told him about my project, and he was like, man, give me some names. I gave him a list, and he was like, changes stick out the most, and it did. It really did.
Do you feel like you've evolved? Are you constantly evolving as an artist?
Definitely, because like starting off is easy. You have so much to say. Like it's just easy. Now it's studying, learning, observing the game, not just from an artistic viewpoint, but from an actual business viewpoint as well. You know, it's not just what 40-50% is just rapping and writing and doing videos. You know, that type. The other side is really, it's a lot of business
and being an independent artist. And we'll delve into this. Of course, if you're signed to a big label, you still are concerned on the business, but they kind of take a chunk of it. But now everything is on you guys' shoulder. How has that been, being an artist and then being a couple where you taking on a managerial role with the business? How was that conforming, and
it gets
what made you want to take that role on, and you allow her to take that role on?
Well, I think like when we met, he had recently moved back to Houston. I don't know for how long, but like he had recorded a song, and like, you know, the first time like in the studio professionally and everything, and he let me hear it, and I heard it, and I was just like, this is good, you know what I mean? Like, I hear people rapping all the time, but the content, you know, like, I mean, and that's like not to downgrade anybody, but we get so much of the mainstream music so much. It's just like, okay, what other level can we even take this to? Like, do we want to even take it to another level? We want some more depth. Yeah, so it's like, you know, once I heard it, I was just like, you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, what you work for, you can achieve it. And I always tell them, like, we all like mainstream. Most people like, you know, the money and the fame and stuff that you get from it. But I see him as like a big crit, or, you know, Currency, or these people that have maintained independent artistry and made a good living for themselves, you know. But it's just like, you can remain true to who you are. Because we've had experiences where people come up to him and offer this and that, but it's just like, that's not where we're trying to take it. You know, you're already trying to get us to compromise who he is as a person, and it's just like, no.
Yeah, I'm not compromising for nothing. I am who I am. I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be. Period.
So peace and so it seems as though the money will never be a driving factor for you guys, because that comes, and I say that in any industry. If you have the money as your driving factor, it's easier for you to falter, right? Because when the money doesn't come instantly, you're like depleted. So it seems as though the artistry, the fans, and your passion and love for rap, I guess, is what's going to keep you going. So would you never go? Would you never sign that big company? Would you always be independent?
It just depends.
It depends
on what they're talking
package.
about. Yeah.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. Like, we want the money that comes with it, but
you want to keep that integrity.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of all of that, and then we're not good, and, you know, because it's just like, I always feel like God gives you what you're ready for. You know, so you gotta maintain where, you know, God needs you to be, so that you're ready for the next level and
Exactly. So speaking of portraits, so what all type of portraits can you provide individuals that are wanting some art, or wanting to add a piece of art to their home or their place of business? What all do you provide?
Anything, like, if I paint off images.
Okay.
So I'm not off the top of my head, I'm about to make something up.
Would you do abstract? If
I could do abstract paintings.
Okay.
But I'm saying like fantasy or things of that matter, anime or whatever. Like, I can't create characters. Or like, I'm self-taught. Nobody taught me how to paint. So I started off drawing people. I started painting people. That's what I've been doing. There's celebrities, of course. Like, I started off drawing a lot of celebrities. Now, you know, I paint celebrities, but now all I ask for is just a good quality photo. As long as you have a really good quality photo, that's the best. That's the realest it's gonna look. If it's a really good realistic image, then I could paint it.
So family portraits, guys. Females, males. We have Valentine's Day once again coming up. And then Black History Month.
Yeah.
So I was gonna get with you. So it's funny, when I was looking on Instagram, and it was someone's child you had just done a portrait of. Because I wanted to have a portrait done for my bathroom, and I thought a life, you know. So I didn't realize that was it seems as though that's where your niche is. So once again, I want you to share, before we wrap it up, all of your platforms where they can reach you for your both music, as well as including if you're on Apple Music or whatever platform, as well as for your art.
My music is on all streaming platforms.
Awesome.
It's Tony, TonyRiChard, Tony Richard. My Twitter handle, my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok is all the same. TONY Tony or RI_CHARD.
Okay.
So it's all the same.
Okay.
It's easy to find. It's not hard to find. I'm not hard to find.
Okay, well, guys, I want to thank you. This has been fun.
Thank you.
This was a feel-good show today. And what better show than to have co-hosts that are representing Black excellence as a couple. This is what we need more of. For us to build our community, we're going to have more family foundation. So I want to say that I pray that you guys' 2021 exceeds expectations, and that God really, really brings you to new levels. I really do. Thank you again for being a part of it. All right, Mogul. So you guys enjoy your week, and like I always say, be kind to someone, please. All right, sending you guys love.